We are modern people in modern relationships, talking very complicated, ambiguous, multi-layered. Everything is complex and complicated, but this complexity is killing our intimate relationships. And today I want to advocate for caveman consequences. Hi, my name is Dr. Assael Romanelli, and this is The Potential State. And today we're in Own Your Shit 27. It's time for caveman consequences. So just like the paleo diet, where people eat what our ancestors used to eat hundreds and millions of years ago, I want to advocate for caveman communication. What does that actually mean? When I mean caveman or cavewoman communication, I'm talking about I do what I say and I say what I do. It's integrity. We have a saying, the heart and my mouth are the same. So in that sense, I'm talking about caveman of taking a chance and speaking just one truth, one clear position, not too complicated, because this overcomplication, what it creates, and I've spoken about this before, is smoke screens and a lot of mind reading and projection, and it kind of locks relationships in low differentiation. You can refer back to the one dimension communication episode. So when you're in caveman communication, when you're speaking very, very clearly, or in numbers, or when you try to avoid smoke screens and you just say what you feel, you're going to be stepping into the heat. Everything's going to happen much faster because you're getting to the point much faster. Just like in improvisation, we tell actors all the time, say the thing. Say what's happening on stage. Don't beat around the bush, say the bottom line. Let's see where this happens. And here, this is where caveman communication meets consequences. The Adlerian concept of natural consequences. Natural consequences in parenting, for instance, you tell your kid, put on a coat he doesn't want to, put on a coat he doesn't want to. So you say, fine, go without a coat. He leaves the house, he or she gets a cold, and then it's a natural consequences. So now they learn that if there's no coat, they get sick. And that's the natural consequence. So I want to put those two ideas together. When you speak caveman or cavewoman, you are going to get caveman consequences, which are natural consequences of speaking very, very clearly, for good or for bad. But as we can see, the best teachers for children are natural consequences. Okay, not logical consequences that us parents kind of infer or decide, but the natural ones. We're letting the power of nature, or in this case, of natural communication, to move the story forward. I want to give an example. So there was a couple's working with a while back ago, and he said he wanted to kind of take a break in their marriage, and he didn't know really how to say it, and he kind of hinted it, and he alluded it, but he said it, and then he retreated back and forth, and then I just said, why don't you just say what you're feeling? And then he said, I want to take a break. And she got really, really angry, and then he kind of shied away, and he went kind of upstairs and spoke a little about smoke screen. And I said, actually, you know what? Let's try something else. You really want this, so why don't you stand tall and say it, open your body, and receive the natural consequence, the caveman consequences of saying to your wife, I want to take a break. And that's what he did, and it was very, very hard for him and for her. But after that, what happened was a release of energy and vitality. There was a clarity. She knew that even before he started speaking. But the caveman communication, the caveman consequences helped them actually push ahead and go forward in their relationship. And another personal example, a while back I decided I wanted to run the Tel Aviv Marathon, and my wife Galit was very opposed to it, and there was fighting and arguing because the following day I was supposed to fly abroad, and there were a lot of fights. At a certain point I realized that I'm not going to cancel it, and I'm not going to smokescreen around it. So I came up to her and I said, Galit, I'm sorry, I know you don't want me to do it, but I'm going to do it. I took a breath, I stood open, I got the caveman consequences, and we ended up doing the marathon. There's also an episode about the marathon. You can listen to it or watch it. And then what was really interesting, that after it happened, a day later, she turned around to me and she said, Assael, I'm very glad you stood up for what you believed in. You took a chance. You were very, very clear. I knew where you were standing, and there was no ambiguity toward the end. So these are just two examples of the caveman consequences. And now how do you do that? So first of all, decide that you believe that there is merit to being caveman communication and caveman consequences in intimate relationships. Again, the world is complicated. We are complex people. But it's been my experience that in relationships, intimate relationships, they need clarity. Clarity and integrity. Then share with them this episode. Share with them that you want to go more caveman because you want to become clearer. You want to go deeper, and you're realizing there's going to be a more high risk, high gain. There'll be more ruptures and repairs, but there's also going to be more vitality and fluidity and movement. Then dare to reveal your motivations and your positions. Say what you feel. If you need, you can use numbers, or you can just say very short statements. Own your shit when you're jabbing your partner, when you're aggressive, when you purposely forget or jab, or you're sarcastic or you're belittling. That's another caveman communication. Get ready for the consequences. And also, once those consequences happen, once your partner reacts, and they will react to very clear statements by you, open up, let it land. Keep your body open, your mind open, let these things land. And take a breath, and you'll notice how some of these communications become faster because you're getting to the point, you're saying the thing, you're following the fear. Each one of you is saying, and caveman communication, encourages more caveman and cavewoman communication, and that's how we become vital, spontaneous, alive, visceral, scary sometimes, but also exciting. That's the interactions we want. So perhaps some caveman communication can help modern relationships go farther. My name is Dr. Assael Romanelli, and this was The Potential State. I'll see you next time.